Hi everybody, I am Subhashri. If you're a Tamil native speaker or if you are a non-native speaker of English but want to improve your English pronunciation, improve your English speaking style. If you're a parent who wants your kid to read fluently with good pronunciation, stress and intonation, don't skip the video. In this video, I'm going to read a story with proper intonation, pause, stress. Not just that, I'm also going to give you the idea of where to stress, where to raise the tone, where to use weak forms, and all the aspects of story reading. Let's get into the story. This is about a boy named John. Lazy John. I have given you the script. As you travel along with me, read along with me. Before getting into the story, please take down the story in a notebook or you can take a print of it. Have it ready. This is not just going to be a video monotonous. You're going to learn along with me. You're going to know the techniques of story reading. You will also get to the idea of stress. Why to stress? Lazy John. Repeat after me. Don't say lazy, lazy, lazy. Z, it's not s, z. Lazy John. John, John, John. Lazy John. There was a boy named John. In this particular sentence, first underline the important words in the story. Important words must be stressed. Stress the important words. Stress is giving a little more importance to the particular word and raising the voice than the other sounds. So here it is. There was a boy named John. Boy, John. These two words are important and you have to stress. Raise your voice for it, which means you have to stress it. Whereas the other parts are weak forms. Those are not that much important. The words like was, in, the, to, for, the prepositions, conjunctions, articles, those do not give any specific meaning individually. So it's not necessary to raise the voice for all those words. Instead, give importance to the important words. Let's read. There was a boy named John. There was a boy. It's not there was a boy. There was a boy. No. It's there was a boy. There was a boy. Link the sounds. There was a boy named John. Who's lazy? Who's lazy? It's not who was lazy. No. Who's lazy? Say it together. Who's lazy? The word lazy is important according to the story, so we have to stress it. Lazy. There was a boy named John who was lazy. He couldn't even change his clothes. He couldn't even change his clothes. He couldn't. Couldn't, the word couldn't naturally get stressed with the k sound. Couldn't. He couldn't even change his clothes. The words boy, John, lazy. How much lazy was he? Who couldn't even change his clothes. So we have an understanding of the particular boy. How much lazy was he? Shall we read this particular sentence again? There was a boy named John. He was lazy. He couldn't even change his clothes. Now we are getting into the second line of the story. One day, when we say the story, we usually start the story or the important plot with one day, once upon a time, at that moment. Here, one day is important. One day, and take a pause. One day he saw the apple tree? No. One day he saw the apple tree. He saw the apple tree. The word apple tree is important here. One day he saw the apple tree. One day he saw the apple tree in the yard. One day he saw the apple tree in the yard. One day he saw the apple tree in the yard. Repeat after me. One day he saw the apple tree in the yard. It was full of fruits. It was full of fruits. It was full of fruits. Say it together and fruits may be louder. It was full of fruits. It was full of fruits. Now I'm saying reading the first and second line. There was a boy named John who was lazy. He couldn't even change his clothes. One day, he saw the apple tree in the yard. It was full of fruits. Instead of reading it word by word, raise your tone, analyze the weak forms, don't pronounce the weak forms louder, increase the voice, focus on the tone, and then your story becomes lively. Now to the third line. He wanted to eat some apples. He wanted to eat some apples. He wanted to it's not two. He wanted to, no. Two, it's not necessary to say it as two, it's t. A schwa sound is enough. So he wanted to eat some apples, but he was too lazy to climb the tree. Read that as he was too lazy. He was too lazy. He was too lazy. The word too lazy is important. He was too lazy to climb the tree. To climb the tree. He was even lazy to climb the tree. He was too lazy to climb the tree and take fruits. He was too lazy to climb the tree and take fruits. He was too lazy, repeat after me. He was too lazy to climb the tree and take fruits. Stress the important words. He was too lazy to climb the tree and take fruits. The voice goes up and down. Wherever it's important, you can find the difference. Now to the next. So, he lay down underneath. So, it's a pause. So, he lay down underneath the tree and waited for the fruits to fall off. So, he lay down underneath the tree, and waited for the fruits, Say it together. And waited for the fruits to fall off. He waited for the fruits to fall off. Next, John waited until he was starving. John waited until he was starving, but the apples never fell. There are different ways of story reading where you give importance only to the content. You can read it accordingly. When you're reading for a child, it must be slower than this, with more of emotions. Now I'm going to start reading from the first. I guess I can read the last sentence again. John waited until he was starving. John waited until he was starving, but the apples never fell. Never fell is important here. He was waiting, he was even starving, but he didn't try. The apples never fell, and he did not get the apples. Now I'm reading the story from the first line. Read along with me. Don't read it word by word. Don't go for word by word reading. Instead, underline the important words of the story. Practice reading all those words. Understand the meaning. Use your voice. Your voice is a powerful tool that can do magic. Really works well. A story is an effective tool that can help you connect with the audience, create a connect with the audience. You can use this or anything. Here I'm reading the story from the beginning. Repeat after me. Lazy John. There was a boy named John who was lazy. He couldn't even change his clothes. One day, he saw the apple tree in the yard. It was full of fruits. He wanted to eat some apples, but he was too lazy to climb the tree and take fruits. So he lay down underneath the tree and waited for the fruits to fall off. John waited until he was starving, but the apples never fall. The apples never fell. It didn't fall. This is what the story is about. And whenever you give a reading, it's not just blind reading, it's not word by word reading. Stress the important words. Use your voice as a powerful tool to connect with the audience. If you have a child, if you're a parent, give them more importance to reading. The reading can help them understand the content. It can help them to be more creative. They become effective storytellers, good creators, and they do a lot of innovations in the future. Do practice and let me know the feedback. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.